train, high fly, 100 planes. 'Cause when I'm with you, girl, I'm dreaming wide awake. I finally open my eyes. I wanna bring you to life. 'Cause when I'm with you, girl, I'm dreaming wide awake. Dreaming wide awake. I finally open my mind. Anywhere we go, it's paradise. 'Cause when I'm with you, girl, I'm dreaming wide awake. Dreaming wide awake.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Excited to have you guys with us right here on the Betting News Network. That's B-Sauce. My name's Sweatpants Jesus. I was about to say my name's just Sook because I'm so used to saying Sook, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Excited to have you guys here. Thanks for stopping by to start off your Sunday for some saucy Sundays. Excited to have you here. What's up, B? How we doing, man?
So good, man. We banged yesterday on the afternoon
did.
espresso and the violence report. Shout out Trizzy. The homie came with the winners. It was a good day. It was a nice little Saturday. Let's try to do it again.
Hell yeah, man. We had a really good show yesterday. It was fun vibes having you on a Saturday. We'll have to have you back on a Saturday because we smacked.
So excited. I'm just kidding.
Out. He's out. Producer
Me and
Sook-
Sook are just too keen on firing each other. I don't know why.
I know. Every time you guys are not on the same show together, it's like, let's get this other guy out of here. That's what happens when you're friends. But yeah, we smacked our parlay yesterday, chat. Let's go. A lot of you guys probably tapped in, tailed. Let's get after it. We love to see it. Beautiful way to spend the Saturday. It was a beautiful day yesterday here in Nashville. It's really pretty today, too. How's the weather in Cali?
Dude, it's so hot. It's so nice. I've been going for like a morning swim, an evening swim. It's nice.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I don't have access to a pool, but it's getting close. And it's happy June. Happy June. Happy June to everybody in the chat. Happy June to you. June is here. Dude, where the fuck did May go? Literally just like, see you later. Adios, amigos. What up, chat? How we doing? Hey, B Young. What up, Austin? Vibes are high. Excited to have you guys with us to kick off this beautiful Sunday slate. We saw the end of the Eastern Conference Finals yesterday with the New York Knicks. Very happily for V not making the NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers locked in their spot, booked their ticket to the finals. So it will be the Indiana Pacers taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, I tweeted this last night. We've kind of talked about it on the show. We can talk about the game first, and then we'll kind of jump in and talk about kind of the finals and everything like that. What did you think of the game? Did you watch the game?
I did watch the game. I thought, honestly, the Knicks went out a little bit sad. You know what I mean? It was tough to see the way that they played in Game 5 really made you think that, hey, like a 3-1 comeback, it's really on the table. And early on, it was a close game. But in that second half, it just looked like a different team came out of the locker room, right? Like Jalen Brunson was playing well in that first half, and you were getting some stuff. Yeah, maybe Cat was struggling from the field, but OG kept them in that game with a couple of timely buckets. But in that third quarter, they shut the door on any hope of a Knicks comeback. But it was fun to see Halliburton insane and Pascal Siakam. What did he finish with? 26 points, right?
Yeah.
Absolute baller.
Let's go, Alec.
Hey, let's go.
Welcome back, dude. Deployment ends next week. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go. Appreciate you for your service, and we love that you tune in with us as well, all across the world. We love to see it. Yes, Bob. The rent was paid last night. We love to see that too. I mean, we kind of talked about it yesterday. I had a feeling the Pacers were going to win this game. That arena was rocking. Caitlin Clark was in the house, and there's like 7-0 when Caitlin Clark's there during the playoffs. But what did you think? I obviously was somebody that bet on Halliburton. I was sweating going into the fourth quarter, but he had an awesome fourth quarter and ended up being the reason they ended up, closing the deal last night. What did you think of Siakam winning the MVP of the Eastern? I don't think that this needs to be a drama thing necessarily, but what did you think of Siakam winning it versus Halliburton winning it?
Honestly, to me, it was Halliburton. Halliburton was the MVP. Like, I'm not mad at Siakam winning the Eastern Conference MVP, just because, it's great for Siakam. He's been fantastic, and like you saw the voting. It was 5-4. It was very, very tight, but Halliburton was obviously their best player in that series, but sometimes it doesn't go to the best player, right? And I don't know whether it's just more of a now thing or maybe over the last little whiles thing, but it gave me the same feeling that I felt when 2015 when Steph didn't win the Finals MVP and they gave it to Iguodala. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where it's hey man, the choice was pretty clear. and you guys still found a way to kind of fuck it up. But
Yeah.
in this case, I was less mad about it than the Iggy MVP, just because Siakam had a really good game. But it feels like recency bias. 26 points, right? That's fantastic. But Haliburton still had 22 points. What was it, like 12 assists, 6 rebounds? He had a great stat line, put up good numbers. I don't know, man. Felt like they picked the wrong guy.
When the list that came out of the people that voted, I was looking at the list and I was like, I mean, do these guys really know what they're talking about? Obviously, they're on that list for a reason. And like, I didn't go and look at every single person that voted and stuff like that to figure out like what their background was. But I don't know, just as a basketball watcher and somebody who's seen a lot of basketball, you too, like, how can you not give the award to Haliburton? Like, he was, in my opinion, the most invaluable player in that series. Yes, Siakam was awesome. And he definitely pushed them to a victory a couple times as well. But the reason they won that series was because of the play of Tyrese Haliburton, because of what he does on the court for that team. And he might have something to say in the finals as well in regards to that too. But you can't discredit Siakam, like you said,
because they don't get
awesome
here without both of them. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You take either one of them off the team, they're not in this position. Siakam's had big minutes, and I think a lot of it, maybe not for the MVP, but what he brings to this team is the off-court stuff, the leadership.
Yeah,
you heard him in his speech when he got the Eastern Conference MVP. First thing he does was shout out Thomas Bryant. He's like, he lost minutes in this series, right? But he came out tonight. He did exactly what we needed to do. His preparation was the same, and that's the hardest thing to do, because Siakam is talking from a guy who played like 11 minutes per game in the NBA Finals with the Toronto Raptors, or 12 minutes per game in that playoff run. He wasn't a guy that was used as heavily as maybe people like to remember, right? Mm-hmm. He was ready when they needed him. He did what he needed to do, and he had big moments in that postseason, and that's exactly what Thomas Bryant did. And I think Siakam's done a great job being a leader in this locker room and really helping give Rick Carlisle a voice amongst the players. So I think that's been super dope to see.
Yeah, and I mean, that's probably a reason why maybe him getting the MVP is not so, like, he also seems like a really good dude, but like he has done this all season for this team, veteran leadership, like you said, been kind of the voice in the locker room, and it's paid off. Like, obviously this team looks locked in. I mean, they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so it's not like this is out of nowhere. And we know how that went down last year, and they came back this year and they said, no, we're not going to get swept this year. We're going to go all the way to the finals. I think it was Haliburton. I think we both can agree that it's the same kind of conversation of like the Jokic. It's obviously a season award, but Jokic versus SGA thing. Like, were either picks bad? No. But like optics wise, like you just kind of go, yeah, that's my opinion.
Jason Tatum didn't get it last year, right? The Eastern Conference MVP or the Finals MVP. It's just sometimes voters vote. I don't know. It feels like they made a mistake both times, and now it feels like maybe a theme. I don't know. Weird.
It's like it would have been like if they would have given the MVP to Jalen Williams for the Thunder, because he had some big scoring games and like was the reason why they helped. But like, we all know that it was SGA. Like, that is no doubt, right? And they got that one right. But I don't know why there was such a mix in this situation. Maybe it was because Haliburton had such a bad game 5.
I don't know.
So
sometimes it feels like bias does come out. You know what I mean? With these reporters and things like that. And sometimes previous biases don't go away. Like that's like you and me sitting here and being like, okay, yeah, Haliburton had a good series, but he's not like that crazy good. No, he's fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Well, you
like,
and
we're
I
all here ready to eat crow.
I was about to say, you and I have had to eat our crow for Haliburton the last month and a half, because we were kind of non-believers.
Like 3 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, after they beat the Bucks, and he tweeted, "Overrate that." I retweeted it with okay, you won our first round series as the favorite. Good job. And then I was gonna retweet that again and be like, well, he showed me, but you know what I mean? It's like
you can just say it here, which is nice.
You know what I mean? He did. Yeah. He's been fantastic. This Pacers team has been fucking fantastic, and he's been the engine that drives this offense. And I think the biggest difference this year, especially like when you look at a guy like Jalen Brunson on the other side, is defensively, he fucking brought it. Now, I'm not going to say he was an elite defender. I won't even say he was a good defender, but sometimes effort just does enough. You know what I mean? A high effort defender can do enough, and that's what he was. You saw it again last night with the turnover on Jalen Brunson, where Nembhard got the layup the other way. Yeah, Nembhard got the steal and the bucket, but it was Halliburton's pressure from the blind side that turned Brunson around, forced him towards that side, and then next thing you know, Nembhard cookies. Right? So it's moves like that, and Rick Carlisle, I think, has done such a good job of bringing a team that we talked about like the worst defense in the league last year and bringing them into the top 10 category this year. That's an insane accomplishment, especially with the fact that they didn't really make any roster changes.
Well, I think it just went to show that they had faith in the pieces they had, but they also were relying upon – they made a risk. They took a risk. They were relying upon leaps of, can Nimby take the next step? Can Benedict Mathurin take the next step? Can Halliburton take the next step? They were kind of going, we have the guys we believe in, but we need them to kind of go like this, and we'll be fine this season. And it paid off. Sometimes teams do that, and then the players don't quite live up to the expectations they may have, and then they don't get to the same situation, and you got to kind of recoup again. But in this situation, they committed to the system. They committed to what they saw last season in that playoff run last year with Carlisle and what he brought, and obviously what the players did. They went, okay, these guys have the goods. Now we're going to let them develop for another offseason and go into this year and go for it again. And it worked out, like you said. That Halliburton block also, was it on OG in the corner when he blocked that three or something? That was a big play too, kind of down the stretch of that game as well. Like you said, he's not going to ever be an elite defender. Like, he is a good defender. He's also lengthy as a guard, which helps because what is he, like 6'5", 6'6"? But he's long, so he can block some shots. He can be handsy defensively. And like you said, the Knicks, Brunson, it got to the point where Brunson looked like he was just running out of options. Like, they really did a good job of taking him away in this game. He still had something to say about it, like you mentioned, but I said this going into the game, which is why I bet on Cat, and thank God Cat ended up cashing his PR because I was kind of worried for that for a little bit. But the reason why the Knicks were going to go further in this series or further beyond this is, yeah, you're going to get your stuff from Brunson, but Cat was going to have to be special in these games. And he was good last night, but he wasn't great. And that's the reason why they ended up losing. So what's your thoughts on before we talk about we're going to talk a little bit about the finals, chat. There's not much. We got a lot of days before the game one starts. We'll have some more days on the program talking about like all the different angles, but there's some couple things to mention going into the finals. But what's your thoughts about the Knicks? I know you don't like the Knicks, so you'll have to kind of take your Celtics hat off and put it to the side for a second. But like, do you think I've seen reports that, Thibodeau is maybe to go, but he's obviously also gotten the backing of the front office so far that they're wanting to stick with Tibbs. They're wanting to stick with Brunson. What do you think that this team is going to do in the offseason? Do you think they're going to make any major moves?
I think probably. I can see them making a move or two, but I don't know what it's going to be. In my opinion, Tibbs, great coach, man. He's had this program playing winning basketball. Yes, there's the whole argument about him playing his guys too much and this and that. But again, like I said this before, I think it was last week, the fact that Tibbs's team right now doesn't suit his coaching style in the sense that you can't have a guy like Cat, who is a negative defender, and Jalen Brunson, who is another negative defender, out there on the court all the time playing Tibbs basketball, because it doesn't work. He's a defensive-minded head coach. He was the guy who had the 08 Celtics defense looking like a top-tier defense of all time. This is a guy who did the exact same thing in Chicago when Derrick Rose won an MVP. It was their defense that was winning them games and had them in first place in the Eastern Conference. Now you see this Knicks team, they've had a defensive identity from the jump, right, since he got there. But this year they really regressed in that sense. And now you're seeing reports come out saying players were talking about it, coaches were talking about Cat, and not just the fact of his defensive, how he is a bad defender, but his understanding of defensive schemes, his willingness to break scheme and do things outside of the defense and make mistakes and miss rotations. And you saw that frustration sometimes on the court. It was guys like OG saying, dude, get up, do this, do that, move here. And he's just not the center for Tibbs, right? And I think that's a big reason as to why this might not work. Now, what needs to happen in the offseason, whether Tibbs needs to go or maybe Karl Anthony Towns needs to go, I'm not sure. I think it's hard to move off Cat after you just gave him that contract and you just, did all this kind of stuff. I think it's also hard to move a guy like OG Anunoby, right? Who also has a big contract that they just gave him. And then Mikhail, you guys have no picks anymore, right? He's on a big contract as well. And you guys have no picks. In the summer of Giannis Antetokounmpo, you guys have no leverage and nothing to give up the Bucks to bring that man to New York. And I think that's the biggest issue for me here is that, yes, they made the conference finals, but this was the year that they should have done it, right? They should have gotten to the finals. The Celtics were gone. The Cavs were gone. They literally just needed to beat the Pacers, and they were healthy 1 through 5. The bench was healthy. They needed to do it this year, and now I don't know what changes need to come in the offseason. What do you think?
It's this is a different. We just talked about how Indiana didn't make any changes, and then that worked out for them because they had younger players that kind of took that next step. This is kind of the opposite situation. The Knicks are going to have to make some type of move here because they can't run it back again with this same roster constructed the way it is, because you kind of know what you have in OG. You know what you have in Mikal Bridges. Obviously, Cat brings what he brings, and you know what you have with Brunson. So you kind of know what you have with all these guys, and Josh Hart, obviously. But, like, there's no, like, well, maybe this guy will develop. Obviously, these guys can develop into better players as they will. But, like, they're at that point in their careers where, like, they are kind of who they are at this point. And I don't see any of those guys going, like, I don't see OG turning into, like, a, incredible wing scorer. He can score. He's good. He's great defensively, obviously. But, like, I don't see that leap kind of happening. And that would be the thing that would kind of make me go, okay, we can run it back. But they don't have that really. So, yeah, you're right. I saw some reports too that apparently and all of this is he said, she said stuff. So who knows if it's true or not. But I mean, apparently Cat was a liability defensively, like you just said. Apparently it was a kind of a frustration with the team because you got two guys on that starting court that are really great defenders in Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, which, when you got two guys that are elite, I think Josh Hart's a good defender too. When you got two guys or possibly three guys on the court that are really, really, really good defenders, but they're having to constantly make up for the fact that the problem with Cat too defensively is not the fact that he doesn't give effort. He just makes bozo stupid ass plays sometimes, which puts you in bad positions. And in the playoffs, especially, those possessions matter. Those fouls that he makes are terrible. Sometimes the rotations are wrong. And those buckets are the ones that end up, losing you a game and then losing you a series. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to move on from Cat, like you said. But I don't know if they're going to – it seems like they're committed to moving on from – or not moving on from Tibbs either. So what do you do? Like, you get like a center, like a proper center, and then you play Cat as a 4. Like, I don't know, like a Vucevic type of player or something like that, or somebody that's more of a paint protect, like Brook Lopez, maybe. I don't know. Like, what would you do? Would you trade Cat, or would you keep Cat and bring in a center that gives you more defensive prowess? But then that's another piece on the court that you got to have in that lineup, and somebody sits,
I feel like a little bit you need to have a conversation with Cat. And if he gives you, does he give you any kind of hope that he can make changes, that he can do better, give you more minutes, right? Like, maybe you still move him to the 4, right? Or maybe you bring in a defensive 4, right? A guy like, I don't see, that's the problem, is I don't know what they could trade or move because the fact that they don't have picks. The Karl Anthony Towns contract is a contract that not many people are going to want to take on too. The second apron shit is very serious. It's why the Celtics are now looking to trade guys like Porzingis and Drew Holiday. It's also why a guy like Karl Anthony Towns has the Knicks now sweating. It's why they traded Karl Anthony Towns last season from the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? The second apron shit is no joke, despite what I might have believed last season. And teams don't want to fall into that category because not only does it make you have to pay more, but then you have to start giving up certain draft picks. It really decreases your maneuverability in the long run. And I think that's the biggest issue for teams here. And that's why people aren't going to want to take on Cat's contract. Maybe a team like the Suns, where you have an eccentric owner who just wants to win now. Book, Cat, they played together at Kentucky. They got some history there. So you could see maybe Matt Ishbia being like, hey, you know what? Send KD to New York. Send us back Cat, and let's let it roll that way. Maybe
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. That's a kind of a win-win, I think, for both teams too. Obviously the Knicks, because the Knicks are in win now mode. Like, they're not trying to build towards – they don't have a lot of prospects that are like sitting there on the bench going, why is that guy not playing? Like, they got all their players on the court right now. Like you said, they don't really have any picks, so they need to win They need to maybe get a big piece or add a couple of smaller pieces that are going to help you win now. And then you start thinking about the future in the next couple of seasons. But yeah, I mean, KD back in New York, the other side of New York, though, that could be fun. Cat in the desert with Book, like you said, that's a nice 1-2 punch. So I don't hate that move.
It's stuff like that I think, could be fun. But I honestly, I don't see what's going to happen here in the offseason. It's going to be super fucking interesting because we're all talking about Giannis right now. Cat's entered the conversation. KD, we kind of forgot about down there in the desert, right? So just things like that.
And there's all the reports that, from what I was reading and kind of seeing, that it's pretty set in stone that KD's leaving. I don't think that KD is going to be a Phoenix Sun next year. If you had to choose, just since you brought it up and we got time today, if you would pick a destination, I think the Knicks, like you just said, is a good one for KD. But like, what would be your ideal landing spot for KD to go to next year?
Man, I honestly think he would be a lot of fun in Houston. I think if you take Jalen Green out of that lineup, right, and you put in KD, I think that's a lineup that could have a lot of fun. You've got your isolation scorer, you've got your Fred VanVleet at the point, right? Or maybe you remove Dylan Brooks out of that lineup and insert KD. Maybe that's the way that you go if you somehow retain Jalen Green in that trade. But I could see him having some fun in Houston. But New York will honestly be fun. I think you got to make the most of your window if you're in New York right now. Because Jalen Brunson, like as a smaller guard, I watched this with Isaiah Thomas. When they are having their best years, you need to capitalize on it right then and right there, because when their speed starts to go, that's their biggest weapon, right? And that's something that they need to capitalize on right now. Jalen Brunson is playing at an insane level, right? You can't afford to take next season off. I think even if you run it back with this team, right? Maybe you make some moves. I don't know. But I love KD in Houston. I was going to say the Thunder, but not anymore. Not after you go to the finals. You know what I mean? Like, this team is good. Don't fuck around. Chet's coming too. They're going to have second apron issues of their own with the way that they're going to have to pay those guys. So, yeah, keep KD outside of OKC.
Yeah. They have, we've talked about it numerous times in chat. I'm sure you guys know the Oklahoma City Thunder have an embarrassment of riches. They have so many picks. They have so much to throw around, which a lot of those picks are going to either be picks that they end up taking because of, like you said, they might have to in a couple seasons trade the likes of Chet to somebody. They might have to trade Jalen Williams, because if they paid all those guys, then they're going to be really up against it with the SGA contract as well. So, they have so many picks that they can afford to make those decisions, or they can trade all of those picks to somebody to get, I don't know, a replacement for Chet, give a contract to Chet to somebody else, and then you don't have to deal with all that for another couple seasons. You kind of kick the can down the road. It's
second apron has really kind of brought some parity back into the league in that sense too, because Jalen Williams, he just made an all-star game that has repercussions of its own in terms of contract time, how high his contract can be, things like that, right? Like Sook said this about Sabonis. He's never been an all-star. That comes up when coming into contract negotiations, into trade talks, into all that kind of stuff. So this OKC team is gearing up to make it extremely hard on ownership. So I don't think you can bring KD in right now.
No, I like the idea of him going to Houston. You said it a couple of times of him going back to Texas is probably where he wants to go and where it could end up making sense. And you got two teams in the Western Conference, well, three actually, where he could fit in any of those Texas teams. I mean, KD can fit anywhere, really. You can make it work. But yeah, I like the Houston one.
Out of this just popped into my head. Let me throw this at you. I know that the Giannis news and everything like that, everybody's talking about Giannis and the Bucks and what's going to happen there. I wonder if there's a world in which they could swing for the fences to keep Giannis and bring in KD
to Milwaukee.
Yeah. Not that he might want it or whatever that situation is, but a team with Giannis, KD, and I don't know if they would have to move Dame or if they could even move Dame, but
I don't know. I like that idea. I mean, they're so similar, but they're also so different in the fact that their body constructions are pretty much the same, and they play kind of the same position. But it's so funny because they're just such different players, so different. So, but they would cause havoc for defenses to figure out, because you got to deal with both really probably the lengthiest forwards in the NBA one of which can shoot from anywhere and the other one can just drive on you and dunk on you at any moment. So that would be fun. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily. I wish Shook was here. I'm sure he would know more about the ins and outs of if that could happen contractually, but I don't see them moving on from Dame. I mean, he's coming off an Achilles injury. Like, I don't see anybody swinging to go want to take Dame off of that contract. It's kind of the same with Kyrie. Like, I feel like Kyrie maybe could have been on the move this offseason if he would have stayed healthy to the rest of the season and gone and played, for a win now situation. I mean, he's going to come into a nice situation with Anthony Davis and Cooper Flag, etc. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be licking his chops to get back in there in January, February when he returns.
He's also a Duke kid too, so
true. He's going to have. I mean, him as well as what is he? 32 at this point? 33. I think he's early 30s. I mean, obviously, he's also one of those, like you said, 33. Yeah, he's the same age as me. He's a guy too that is, like you talked about, smaller guard, but he's maintained the thing about, I disagree a tiny bit about Brunson because his acceleration and his speed is super valuable, but like with his body movement and the way that his footwork helps him get open, I think if he loses a step speed wise, he can still get open and make his shots just because of the way he uses his body as a guard, even though he's a smaller guard. Steph is an anomaly. Like the fact that Steph hadn't had a hamstring injury until this last postseason, what is he, 36, 37, with how much he runs is just incredible. That's not standard practice though for guards, like you mentioned. So
I did more like last point on that is I think that guys who do take a lot more fouls, right? I don't know, maybe
it ends up adding up.
I feel like it ends up adding up. You hit the floor enough times, sure. you put that toll on your body enough times, and it doesn't, in my opinion, exactly lead to longevity. We're seeing it from Joel Embiid, and I know he's always had a history of injuries, even when he came into the league. But the more you're gonna hit the ground, the more you're gonna just like take hard fouls, and some of them are hard fouls because I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, but sometimes when you're just tossing yourself at the ground and things like that, in terms of longevity, it's a really tough spot to be in because I don't know, there's other players like we saw, like Kobe, right? He had his fair share of injuries all the time, broken hand, he's had so many broken bones in his hand, right? And he wasn't a guy that was like foul baiting, he was just taking a lot of hard contact. But look at a guy like LeBron. I myself call him a flopper, but he's not a guy that is foul baiting or hitting the ground or doing things like that. Yes, he'll sell the contact, maybe sometimes excessively, but he's not a guy that's like doing that stuff. And I think that's also why he's been able to play this long without the major injuries, without things like that,
It's interesting because in football, when you start playing football at a higher level, it's weird. They train you how to fall because part of tackling, and you have to understand what it is to fall, because if you try to brace yourself when you're falling or fall weird because you're not accepting what's going on, that's how you fuck your shoulder up, that's how you break your arm, that's how you mess up your knee and shit like that. And I feel like a lot of NBA players, the ones that are good at it, like SGAs, the ones you mentioned, are good, they know how to fall, so they're not going to hurt themselves when they hit the ground in most situations. You're okay. But if you're like a Embiid, you can tell that guy just flops around like a fucking deer and just and that's why he gets hurt, because it's not coordinated. And I mean, I'm kind of this kind of popped into my head the other day because I was watching the Thunder game, and then we'll talk about Thunder Pacers for a second before we jump into today. I was thinking about looking at SGA play, because obviously, it's been well documented at this point that he obviously gets fouled a lot. He goes to the line a lot. And a lot of his fouls, when you watch Thunder games pretty closely, he gets smacked quite a lot. And I was just thinking, I was like, damn, this guy hasn't had any major injuries his entire career. I don't even remember if he's had an injury at all. I've never heard of him having to sit out for any type of actual legit injury versus just rest. I mean, he's about to be into the prime of his career. He's about to get the Supermax probably. It would be shit if he ended up, because like you said, he's also 27, 26, 27. I think maybe they need to be prepared for the fact of at some point that could be something that he's going to have to fix about his game, because you can't getting into the early 30s, you can't be hitting the ground like that as much, because you will get hurt, especially with his body construction. He's a little bit more of a slender dude. So Yeah,
You really can't be. And I agree with that part, like what you just said too. I do think that they do a little bit better job of protecting Shea just
sure.
because he's the league's darling. But
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta, your game's gotta evolve a little bit. You gotta add a little maybe weight to yourself and things like that. That'll help. But just stop throwing yourself at the ground. Stay healthy, man. That's all I want to
Sure.
see.
That's all we all want to see. Well, like I said, we've got the two finals places set, and Vegas and our buddy Dave Mason over at BetOnline obviously is the line setter for BetOnline. Set the odds yesterday for after we saw what happened last night with the Pacers. Pacers plus 431 to win the series. Thunder minus 575 to go home with the championship. A lot of people are saying Thunder in 5, possibly. I think somebody in the chat earlier today said it could be a gentleman's sweep.
Mhm.
Just looking at this series as a whole, I think I'm going to end up betting the Pacers purely for the value because I ain't betting the Thunder at this point. If you have a Thunder's future ticket, like this is your wet dream right now. You get to just enjoy this series and look at the minus 575. I think it was plus 500 or 600 to start the season or whatever. You can just go, okay, please just go win and just enjoy the games. What do you think about this series? What are you excited about most? What do you think about from a betting perspective? What are you thinking about from a matchup perspective? Like, what's the biggest thing that stands out to you?
Now, maybe I look like a bozo, but I know everyone's very excited. Thunder in 5, gentlemen's sweep, gentlemen's, all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, this Pacers team is the real deal, man. It is the real deal. I said this when they played the Cavaliers. I said this when they played the Knicks. Everyone had them losing both of those series. I think that this Pacers offense is fantastic. The way that they play on the road is fantastic. Their game somehow gets a little bit better and more edgy on the road this postseason than at home. I just think that this is going to be a spot where they're undervalued by a whole lot, and people are in for a little bit of a surprise. I am taking them to win the series outright. I am taking them on the spread. I do think that they even take game 1, as weird as that sounds. But this is a situation where Rick Carlisle's been here before. He knows what it takes to win the NBA Finals. Pascal Siakam has been here before. Those are the only two guys on either roster with any kind of finals experience. I think that this is going to be a spot where that experience gives them maybe a little bit of an edge, that this team is a team that matches up well with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And despite what we say about them being a 4th seed or whatever, these are the 2 best teams since January 1st, right? They are the 2 best teams with the 2 best records, the 2 best offenses, and both have great defenses too this year. I think they have the bodies to guard Shea. I think they have the guys to match up with guys like Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and even in the paint with a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, who's not really going to put on any pressure offensively on Miles Turner the way Karl Anthony Towns did. So I do think that this is going to be a series where we maybe see Miles Turner's offense find itself a little bit. You know what I mean? Then you got Pascal Siakam, who I don't think Chet's going to have an easy time with. We saw Chet was going through Julius Randle to the first 2-3 games of that series before Randle kind of fell off a cliff. Siakam and these guys, it's going to be a tougher matchup than I think most people think.
Yeah, I like I think for the value to sprinkle in on the pace.
He was on that Lakers.
Yeah, Caruso. I mean, they won in the bubble, so. But I think there's a lot of value on the Pacers to win the series. Are we saying here that we think that's going to necessarily happen? I don't know. I feel like the Thunder should probably win this series. But for the value, like you said, this value would totally flip if the Pacers go in and win game 1. And I could see them going in and winning game 1. 2 really hostile environments, but 2 small market hostile environments. So the environment is more kind of college-like with both of these places, though. Like neither one of these teams are obviously from a big market. And I tweeted this yesterday in chat. You guys are here because you guys love ball, so I don't think any of you guys are going to feel this way necessarily. But like, don't let anybody tell you that because the ratings of this finals is going to be bad, that this is going to be bad basketball. Like this is going to be incredible basketball because, like you said, since January 1st, these have been the best 2 teams in the NBA from that point. None of them are dealing with major injuries. They're all playing great basketball right now. And we are going to get to see the 2 best teams this season in the NBA go toe-to-toe for a championship. So the basketball, the product on the court is going to be top-notch. Will that necessarily lead to maybe super competitive games every single game? Maybe not, because the Thunder obviously are a buzzsaw. But this Pacers team, They got doubted in series 1 against the Bucks, by myself included. They got doubted against the best team in basketball, against the Cavs in series 2, dismantled them. Obviously got doubted against the Knicks. What did they do? They went in and did the same thing against the Knicks. So don't count out this team. Like you said, I think the value for them to win the series is great. At plus, 400, 500, 600, whatever you can find, depending on where you're playing. I like that value a lot. I even like it, like you said, just to look at the game. What up, Jello? They're 9.5. They're 9.5 point dogs in game 1. I like that a lot. I like the plus 9.5.
Yeah, like I said, this team has been elite on the road. They have 1 loss so far on the road this season. That came in round 1 of against Milwaukee. It was game 3. They've won every single game 1 so far on this trip to the finals. And their team, they score 117 points per game on the regular, 116 points per game on the road. You see a team like OKC, their offense is putting out 117 points per game, but just 109 points per game on the road. They have a significant drop-off and a significant shift. We've already seen them lose a game 1 to Denver in that second round series, second round series, right? We've seen them kind of have these moments at home as well as on the road where the team kind of just goes ghost. That hasn't really happened with the Pacers outside of maybe game 4 or game 5 in New York. We've seen this Pacers team compete every single night and stay in every single game. We've seen huge comeback wins. We've seen historical comeback wins, and they just look like a team that, after the way they went out last season, has one thing on their mind, and it's been on their mind since game 81, since training camp began.
You said this, and we've talked about this with this Thunder team, especially in the playoffs too. Like, they've been incredible at home, just absolutely, except for that one game, like you said, against Jokic and the Nuggets in game 1 of that series. But besides that, they'd be beating the shit out of people at home. And they've been doing that pretty much all season long. But like you said, on the road, it gets a little bit different. Sometimes Chet gets a little bit not as efficient. Sometimes Jalen Williams kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. You know what you're going to get with SGA, but even SGA sometimes on the road in the playoffs has been a little iffy. And this Pacers team, especially in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, they play really well. That's going to be a tough environment for them to go into. If the Pacers can steal one of these games at home, on the road in Oklahoma City, look out. Because I feel like if Oklahoma City wins all 4 home games, obviously this is done and dusted. But if they lose one of those games at home, look out. And it could be game 1. You've also got the deal where the Thunder have a little bit longer of a rest. So we're going to get the rest versus rust conversation. Both of these teams have until Thursday, because Thursday is game 1 of the NBA Finals. So they all have 3 days now to kind of get to that particular point. But I agree with you. I think it's a nice matchup for the Pacers. I think the Thunder obviously are the favorites for a reason, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of talking myself into maybe just go ahead and betting this plus 9.5 for the Pacers, because I could see maybe this dropping to like 8.5 or something in the next couple of days. What do you think? I don't know if you've looked at it or not, but off the top of the dome, what do you think the total is for this game?
226.
Pretty good guess. 230.5.
230.5. Interesting. That's high.
That's high, dude. That's high for a game 1 of the NBA Finals.
To me, that feels like Pacers going to cover, man.
I kind of agree.
Right?
I kind of agree. Yeah.
Because that'd be like the best defense in the league, right? You're looking at them right there, and you're telling me that they're going to give up a lot of points to the Pacers then, right?
That's a regular season over-under. That's not. Have we even seen that over-under number in the entire playoffs?
Not the playoffs. Not yet. Now we're getting in the finals. Rowdy.
First game 1. Wow.
And both teams going to be off like a decent enough break too, like a 5-day break at least, even longer for the Thunder.
I mean, I don't want to bet. I don't like betting unders, and you and I are not really big under guys, but I mean, I feel like this line's going to drop. I don't think it's going to stay at 230.5. I'd be surprised if it's 230.5 come Wednesday, Thursday. So
I guess so. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait and find out, man. Because honestly, I agree with you. I think it's going to drop.
Sure. Well, chat, there's some little thoughts for you guys getting ready for game 1. We'll obviously be talking about this all throughout the week leading up to Thursday for game 1 of this series. I feel like both of us are kind of seeing this the same way. leaning Pacers. I'm sure Sook, even though he's not feeling well today, he's been all this is Sook's wet dream. He gets to enjoy both of these games regardless because he likes both of these teams. So doesn't really he can be happy either way. But I think I'm going to invest on the Pacers to win this series just for some fun. And then you might be able to hedge at some particular point if the Pacers end up winning a game on the road or something, and the value kind of drops a little bit throughout the series. Yeah, kind of find out and see what goes down.
Yeah.
All right, that was a good little brief on what happened, obviously last night and going into the finals. Chat, just to say this to you guys, I know that we hit our parlay yesterday. I posted on the timeline. We do a giveaway. We will do a giveaway, but it's not going to be today. I have technical difficulties being able to run the Duckies, and I can't do it myself while also talking to you guys live. So you have to tune in tomorrow for Betspresso. I promise we will do the giveaway tomorrow. So just stick around and come and hang out tomorrow. And we will give the giveaway of our new shirt, which is awesome. It's my favorite thing we have in the store right now. And I'm going to give away $25 to one of you guys in honor of smacking the parlay yesterday. So stick around for tomorrow. We're going to hang out and talk the rest of the slate today. BV's got some plays on the Diamond. I've got a few plays in the WNBA. We'll probably cook up a little parlay to have some fun. And then we'll send you guys off and enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the start of June. Hell yeah, dude. You want to go first? You want to talk Diamond? And then I'll drop into some WNBA?
Sounds good. I got 2 plays on the Diamond. Cheat sheets dropping in a little bit here, but both games going off later, way later in the afternoon, in the evening, depending on where you're at. First, let's go with Manny Machado. Over 1.5 total bases. Now, Machado has been really fucking good this year in terms of making contact. He doesn't have the best numbers against Andrew Heaney, batting just 215 plate appearances, but against lefties, Machado has been crushing the ball. 327 with 4 home runs, and he's just been even better at home. He's hit this line in 6 of his last 10 overall. But when you look at his game log against the Pirates, it gets even better. He's a guy that's hit this in all 3 of 5 games against them just this season. I think tonight at home, after they're getting blanked yesterday, he comes out a little bit better and maybe even takes Andrew Heaney over the fence for one. But give me Manny Machado over 1.5 total bases. I'll have a full breakdown later in the scribbles. And then we're just going back to the best baseball player of all time, Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases, minus 110. Like I said, it's the last game against the Yankees here. They're going up against the Dodgers. They got spanked 2 days in a row. Game 1 looked competitive, looked like the Yankees might have a chance, and then the Dodgers said absolutely fucking not. And in Game 2, they didn't even give them a chance. They didn't even want to wait around. Ryan Yarbrough has been good for this Yankees team this year. He got 3.27 ERA, holding opposing batters to just 0.205 batting average. But the thing is he has struggled against Ohtani in his career. Ohtani is hitting a career average of 400 against Yarbrough with 10 at-bats, and he's got a home run. The other 2 hits, he's also got 2 doubles and a home run. If you're looking for somebody else, someone a little more cheeky in this one, Teoscar Hernandez has 7 home runs off of Ryan Yarbrough. 7. Wow. Yeah, that sounded fake. I had to recheck that on 2 to 3 different sites just to make sure the numbers were correct. But yes, he has absolutely killed the lefty. He kills lefties in general. Look at him for some more fun. But those are my 2 favorite plays. Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases. Manny Machado over 1.5 total bases.
Love it. And chat, be sure to tap in with V, his new article, and obviously also the cheat sheet. I saw somebody tap in yesterday on your sheet and really enjoyed it. Go check it out. We're going to add some more little aspects to that as we get into the summer. Kind of identifying pitcher matchups and some good batters to take off of that. So go check it out. He's going to be working hard, giving you guys that all throughout the summer, even though there's going to be no more basketball. So just looking at, because Dodgers-Yankees is Sunday Night Baseball, last game of the series. The Yankees got absolutely destroyed yesterday. Why is this total still 9? Both of these games have fucking soared. What is up with this? Oh, it's 9.
Oh, honestly, I think that's high for the pitching matchup today. Like I said, Yarbrough's been good holding opposing pitchers, and then you got Yamamoto on the other side. Yamamoto's just been absolutely fucking lights out this season. He's got a sub-2 ERA, I believe. He doesn't give up a lot of hard contact, and this Yankees lineup has struggled against the Dodgers pitcher. And he's probably the best pitcher that's healthy right now in the Dodgers lineup, so it could just be one of those games. But the way that they've already lost 2 of the 3 games, do the Yankees really just want to go out sad and leave LA like this, honestly, I don't really think they're gonna have a choice here.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy. You got two. I mean, yesterday there was 20 runs in that game. The game one, there was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 runs in that game, and you're getting a total at 9 again. I don't know. I agree with you though, the pitching matchup. But again, you got Ohtani and you got Judge. Judge went bananas yesterday. It didn't matter, but he was the whole. He hit 2 home runs, and it was the whole like Chris Paul meme thing of him hitting those 2 home runs, and we're still down 15 runs, but we got 2 home runs. Yeah.
Dude, first time any sports team, any baseball team and NBA team both lost by 15 on the same day.
I saw that stat. That was hilarious. Yeah. This is a good one from G-Lo. That's, nice and chalky, but that probably definitely has an opportunity to smack.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot, G-Lo. A nice SGP. Oh yeah,
throw Manny in there too.
A nice little stew.
I think we start off with Manny and Ohtani as our little two guys to get us rolling. I've got a couple plays in the WNBA to add in that we can throw in there, and then we'll tap it off, and then we'll get you guys sent it off and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Huge WNBA slate today. 4 games. Some are a little bit better than others. All of them are like this. First game starts at 2:00 Eastern or 2 Central, 3 Eastern, between the Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty. 18.5 point spread. Liberty have been really, really good, obviously, to start the season. The Sun are coming off their first win. They got last game. You guys sniped, Inzi and yourself sniped that 10.5 line. That was free because they ended up winning that game outright. A little bit of a different story, though, taking on the Liberty in this game. However, I really like Marina Mayberry over 24.5 PRA. Shop around, chat. I've seen some 25.5s for her, so find the best line available that you can. I really like this line. Oh, not PRAA. Just PRA. Just one. She's been fantastic for the Sun to start the season. Obviously, coming over from the Sky last year, she has kind of taken the offensive responsibility for this team, even though the Sun have not been very good to start the year. She had 26, 5 and 5 in her last game against Indiana. I don't see that slowing down in this particular situation. She's had great numbers against the Liberty in her career too, even when she was playing with the Sky. And she obviously also played against this team last season when she got traded to Connecticut as well, with 15, 6, and 4 hitting this PRA line. So she's hit this line in 4 of her last 5 games against the Liberty, dating back to her time with the Sky. She's also hit her RA, which is 8.5 in 5 straight games against the Liberty. And also she's hit her RA in 3 of her last 4 games as well, pretty easily at over 8.5. So if you want to go the RA route and take that instead of the PRA, that's fine. But I like her scoring as well. I think she's going to need to score. The Liberty are actually one of the worst rebounding teams in the entire WNBA. Great team, obviously could go back-to-back champions this year with how great they've looked so far to start the season, but they struggle on the glass. Marina Mayberry is one of the best rebounding guards in the WNBA, so I really like her rebounding ability. Her rebounding line is 4.5 for plus money. She's hit that in 3 of her last 4 games as well, and she's hit that in 4 of her last 5 against the Liberty, with 6+ in all of those games. So I like her rebounding ability, like the facilitating with the amount of balls, the amount of time she's going to have the ball in her hands, and but I also like her scoring. So I went all the different directions. You can take any of those mixtures if you want, and kind of ladder some stuff up for some fun. I would probably take the RAs as my second favorite if you don't want to go PRA, but I really like Mayberry in this matchup. I didn't bet this, but I really like Sabrina Ionescu as well. Her threes was something I was looking at over 2.5. She's taken 12+ 3-pointers in 2 straight games. She's got great numbers against the Sun in her career as well, dating back to last season too. She's on a little bit of a heater right now. It's always tough to want to take a girl in this situation, or I guess a player, and we do it in the NBA too. But someone you've seen shoot that much, make a lot of shots, and they still set the line at 2.5, kind of goes, what are we doing? But I like it. I didn't bet it myself individually, but I do like that play at Ionescu. I like her PRA as well. If you think that this game can stay within the number, my only concern would be maybe that the Liberty just absolutely railroad them and she doesn't play the 4th quarter. But
Liberty looked insane.
So good.
Right?
So good. Yeah, so good. They look like they're going for back-to-back for sure. And I mean, Breonna Stewart has won 4 straight championships in college, so she knows what it's like to go back-to-back. So this is not a situation where she hadn't been here before. It was a different league. But yeah, this is a good play too. If you want to go this route as well for Marina for her PR, that's nice as well if you want to eliminate the assist aspect too. But yeah, so that's the first game. That one's at, like I said, 3 Eastern, 2 Central. And then the next couple ones that I have, I bet her pretty much every game to start the season, and I'm not going to stop here. She's also one of my favorite players to watch for lots of other reasons as well. But Satu Sabali over 22.5 points, -110. I got the value for this. It's already bumped up a little bit to -115. Taking on the Sparks today. The Mercury go into Los Angeles. Sparks coming off that pretty bad loss to the Aces in their last game where Asia Wilson absolutely dog walked them. I really like Sabali, though. You're probably going to have Alyssa Thomas out of this game once again. So that means that Sabali is going to have to be even more offensively aggressive. If you want to take her PRA, you can. It's 35.5. She had 26, 11, and 4 in their last game without Alyssa Thomas in the lineup against the Lynx, one of the best defensive teams in the WNBA. Sparks not very good defensively, struggled down low as well. Obviously, Asia just dropped 35 on them, but Asia likes playing the Sparks, so that makes sense. But I think Sabali's going to have a lot to say in this game. I went to points, 22.5. You can take the PRA if you want. Her double-double is also a great look as well. It's plus 150-ish. She's coming off a double-double, and with no Alyssa Thomas in the lineup. You targeted her RA a little bit earlier. The points is always really nice, but her rebounding has been great, especially with no Thomas. She has to hit the glass a little bit harder. And this Sparks defense are 10th 2 points allowed towards the power forward position. So I really like her. I know, Chad, I've talked about her quite a few times. It's funny. Shag's literally tuned in, and I'm talking about the same play that I mentioned last time. But she's turning into my favorite player to bet in the NBA. She's really, really good. I really like her game. So I said some other stuff earlier, Shags. You just missed it. But I really like her points. I like the 25 plus 2 for a plus money sprinkle. I think it's really nice. Really nice spot. Last one. This one is something that I bet last game as well in this particular situation. We're getting another team that just played like a week ago or something like that. You're getting the Storm taking on the Aces, and you're getting the revenge narrative here. I'm sure you're going to love this one. Jewel Lloyd used to play for the Storm. She was a longtime Storm member, got traded obviously to go play for the Aces, and the Aces are now coming back in to Seattle to play once again. Jewel Lloyd went not crazy, but she had a really good game in her first game back to Seattle. So I think we're going to see exactly the same thing again. You're getting a little bit of juice here on the threes, over 1.5, -140. You can take the points if you'd rather. It's not juiced. It's 12.5 for -120-ish. She had 14 points when they played. They also dog walked the Vegas in that game. Seattle Storm dog walked Vegas, which was not great for Jewel Lloyd on her new team, but she came out firing. She had 14 points in that game. She made 3 threes in that one. She took 8 3-pointers. She took like 4 or 5 of them in the first quarter. She did not have a very good shooting game in their last game against the Sparks, like I just mentioned, but the Sparks, they ended up winning that game by 15 plus because Asia was on fire. So I think that Jewel Lloyd's going to come back into her former arena and shoot a bunch of threes again. I think we only need 2. I love the 3+ for a plus 200 sprinkle as well. I really like that play. I do think that Kelsey Plum also has a good game in that Sparks game. She had a pretty poor performance against her former team last time. So I think she should have some stuff to say as well in that, going back to that Sparks game, but it didn't end up betting on her straight. So those are my 3 that I've locked in. You got any thoughts on the dub today?
I'm not on the dub, but we do have to put that 1.5 threes look in the parlay. You know, I love a good 1.5 threes look.
Oh yeah. And with the narrative baked in too, that was all just for you, baby. Yeah, no, it's a nice line. It's going to not be 2. It'll be 2.5 for plus money at some point in the next 2 to 3 weeks of the season. But okay. I'll have a couple more things on the timeline before these games start, because all these games are a little bit later in the afternoon into the evening. So be sure to follow, obviously, both of us on the Twitter sphere. Veal have his scribbles out there for the hitter versus pitcher matchups he talked about, and also the cheat sheet for you guys to get involved. And I'll have some WNBA stuff. Might even have a little lotto for the day as well, for the vibes. I think NZ also is going to have some WNBA for you guys today as well. So Shaggy's also writing about Sunday Night Baseball. I have a feeling that he's going to take the under. I have a feeling. Shags, are you still here?
Are you still here? Is it the under in the Yanks game?
Is it?
Juice balls.
It's going over.
The over.
You taking the over? Over 9?
Okay, Shags.
Okay.
Sunday Night Baseball.
I mean,
I
can see it.
Paint me surprised. Color me surprised.
I know. I'm very shocked. Very shocked. It's Philly's 20 this season. And welcome to baseball betting. Cool. All right. Let's wow. Sunday Night Baseball under is like 8-2.
Damn. Not tonight. I bet the over 6 times.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Honesty is the best policy. Also, I felt bad for Shaq's yesterday because I really liked his look on the under 2.5 in the Champions League final. And then it was always just both teams not to score because Inter just didn't show up and PSG just absolutely dismantled them.
yeah, what the hell was that, man?
Crazy. Imagine getting all the way to the final and just getting destroyed like that.
Destroyed like that. I pray that's not what we see with the finals in the NBA, man. But hey,
I hope
blowouts
so,
are
man.
happening all over the league, man. We had blowouts in hockey. We got blowouts in soccer. We got blowouts on the diamond. Come on. Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, and Shohei Ohtani all got pulled in the 6th inning yesterday.
The 6th inning. Thank God Freddie got his bases for us before he got pulled. That would have been really sad.
Like, come on. It exists all over the place. It's just in the NBA where everybody wants to talk about it and highlight it.
True. That's a good point. Very good point. All right, so let's have some fun here. We'll go. All right, I've got Machado for bases, right? 2+.
Yep.
And then Shohei for 2+. Shohei.
And then we got for 2. What's her name?
Jewel Lloyd
for 2.
Okay, so 2. Shohei's minus 155 now.
No
That's
way.
crazy. Yeah.
Yikes.
I might have to look around and find a better line. Let's see if I get it because I don't want to pay minus. If you got,
we could take Teoscar.
No. I like Shohei. I'm down to take Shohei. I just want to see if I can find a better line. What up, Chewy?
I think I'll put Teoscar in my scribbles now, just because I don't want to like give out a minus 110. That's now a minus 155.
Well, it depends on the
ostracized on the timeline.
Hey man, bases props are so different all over the place. So you really got to shop around with bases. I've noticed that there is a wild discrepancy between lines. Like see 2+ for Shohei on a different book is minus 120.
Oh, okay, beautiful. It's going right in my scribbles.
Way better. So let me find where is Manny Machado for 2. Oops, wrong button. Okay, let's see here. Machado for 2. Bing bong. All right, you want to go Jewel Lloyd for 2 threes, yeah?
And then you pick.
Lloyd for 2. Let's see. Lloyd for 2. I want to go Satu. Let's go Sabali.
Oh, yes.
Sabali points.
Always down for the sobs.
Sobs, baby. Sabali, Satu. 22.5. Bing, bong, bang. That is plus 894. That'll do. Plus, that was pretty much the almost exactly what we hit yesterday. So that will let's run it back. Let's go back to back. Machado 2 bases, chat. Shohei Ohtani 2 bases. Jewel Lloyd for 2 threes. Satu Sabali for 23+ points. Add Bryant MVP. That'll send it to the moon, Embiid. To the moon.
Jojo. Let's
go. Plus 894. Let's get it out. Let's get after it. Good stuff, man. Great show. Obviously, we still filled the hour. We didn't have Sook. I was expecting us to cut it a little short today, but still got through it all. Talked our talk and had some fun. Chat, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us on this beautiful Sunday. It's going to be fun. Go out there and enjoy the day today. Get after it. Enjoy some dub. Enjoy some baseball. Enjoy the Sunday. It's good times. Got anything else to say to you before we get out of here?
Let's try to go back to back, chat. Just, do it 1 time for the 2 times and keep Sook in the basement.
Absolutely. If we smack again without Sook, we're gonna have to have some conversations.
We're gonna have some tough conversations with the boy. I love him.
No, it's all right. Like I said, in honor of smacking yesterday, we will do the giveaway tomorrow, either on Talk Your Talk or on Afternoon Bet Espresso. So be sure to tune in tomorrow to win some cash and also one of our new Vibe shirts, which is so awesome. Doing a photo shoot with him this week, dude. That's
ooh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. Appreciate you guys for stopping by and hanging out today to kick off your Sunday. Thanks so much. Get out there and have a great day today. Like I said, go follow all of us on the socials. Go follow Vsauce. Go follow myself. Go follow everybody at Your Betting News. Big thanks to our sponsors at BetOnline, where you guys can bet everything we talked about today and so much more for the NBA Finals, for the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, which are tipping off this week too. Go check it out with that QR code in the top corner of the screen to get a deposit into your account. Go follow us on all the socials too. We're going to have some fun YouTube content rolling through and throughout the summer as well. Some more TikTok stuff and also some stuff on Instagram as well. So go follow us on all the socials and get involved with all the free content we have at bettingnews.com. And we'll catch you tomorrow. V, it's been a pleasure as always, brother. Have a great day. Drive safe later. Chat, we appreciate you guys. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Have a fantastic Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here.
About rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about